There's a part of you that knows you're lying to yourself. You feel it, quiet, sharp, like a splinter lodged under the skin of your thoughts. You distract yourself with noise, with goals, with other people's dramas. You try to bury it under the routines of everyday life. But late at night, when the world goes still, it surfaces, and in that moment, you see yourself. Not the version you present to others, not the polished identity you curate online, the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are, and the distance between that truth and the story you keep telling yourself. And it scares you. Most people think self-deception is a flaw, a moral weakness, but in reality, it's the invisible scaffolding that holds our lives together. Without it, the weight of truth would crush us. Nietzsche once said, "We have art in order not to die of the truth." But it's not just art, it's stories, illusions, the small lies we whisper to ourselves to make existence bearable. We tell ourselves, "I'm in control. I know who I am. I'll change, just not yet." And each of these statements feels comforting, necessary even, because to live without them would mean facing the full chaos of life with nothing to hold on to. But here's the problem. The same illusions that protect you also limit you. Imagine walking into a grand, dimly lit hall. At the far end, there's a towering mask suspended in the air, smooth, flawless, serene. That's the face you show the world. But if you walk closer, you see the cracks. And through those cracks, light pours out. That light is the truth. The parts of yourself you've buried, your doubts, your fears, your unspoken desires. We all wear masks. Plato wrote about the noble lie, a story told for the sake of social harmony. But there's nothing noble about the lies we tell ourselves. They don't just hide us from others, they hide us from ourselves. You believe you have a fixed identity, a stable self that defines you. But psychologists like William James saw identity as fluid, shifting across contexts. The you at work is not the you with friends. The you alone in your thoughts is someone else entirely. We cling to the illusion of a fixed self because it gives us continuity. It makes us feel like we're progressing towards something. But in truth, identity is a performance, a negotiation between who you think you are, who others think you are, and who you wish to be. You are not a solid statue, you're a river, constantly reshaped by the terrain it passes through. We tell ourselves that fear is something to conquer, that once we get over it, we'll be free. But fear never disappears, it just changes shape. Machiavelli warned that fear is more reliable than love in maintaining control. And the most dangerous fear isn't of the outside world, it's the fear of looking inward. Think about it. We fear failure, so we procrastinate. We fear rejection, so we stay silent. We fear change, so we cling to what's familiar, even if it's killing us. The irony? These fears are self-created. The prison isn't made of steel bars, but of thoughts you refuse to challenge. We act as if our days are infinite. We make lists, set goals, plan for someday. But as Bonhoeffer wrote from his prison cell, the moment we start counting the days, we stop living them. Mortality is the truth we hide from the most, not because we don't believe it, but because believing it fully would demand a different life than the one we're living. We tell ourselves we'll fix things later, apologize later, live fully later. But later never comes. And one day you'll realize you've been living in the waiting room of your own existence. Here's the uncomfortable twist. You need some of these lies. Strip them all away at once, and you risk falling into nihilism, a state where nothing matters. That's the abyss Nietzsche warned about. The point is not to destroy every illusion. The point is to know which illusions serve you and which are slowly killing you. So here's a thought experiment. Tonight, stand in front of a mirror, not the quick glance you give yourself before leaving the house, but a long, unflinching look. Ask yourself 3 questions. What am I pretending not to know? What would I do if I stopped lying to myself? If I died tomorrow, what would I regret most? Don't rush the answers. Sit with them. Let them burn a little. That discomfort, that's the truth trying to get through the cracks. Being honest with yourself doesn't mean you'll like what you find. You might realize the relationship you're in is wrong for you. You might see that your ambitions aren't truly yours. You might understand that the life you've built is a cage you willingly walked into. And then, you'll have a choice. Do you keep the mask on, pretending not to notice the cracks? Or do you take it off, knowing you can never put it back the same way again? If you start telling yourself the truth, even in small doses, you will lose things. Illusions will crumble. Certain people will leave. But in their place, you'll gain something harder, rarer, and infinitely more valuable: alignment. Your actions will match your values, your words will match your beliefs, and your life will finally belong to you. That's the paradox of self-deception. We create lies to survive, but only truth can help us truly live. One day, the stories you tell yourself will stop working. The mask will shatter, the light will pour through, and you will be faced with the person you've always been. When that moment comes, you'll have only two options: look away, or finally look yourself in the eye. So I'll ask you again, what are you pretending not to know?